Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I am looking at some really quick ways to get your memories preserved and into your albums. So my name is Paula, I'm a Stampin' Up! Consultant in Tauranga, New Zealand, and I'd like to share with you my favourite scrapbooking kit that has just been released in the latest May release. It's called Celebrate Together. So let's have a look at what's included in one of these kits, and we're going to have a little play and try and find out how easy it is to scrapbook with this kit. So first off, you get the kit in a Ziploc bag, which is a great storage spot for all the bits and pieces that come in it. You do get an instruction sheet, and the instruction sheet is of quality glossy paper, which is lovely to preserve for memories and ideas in the future. In here we have got 3 double-page layout ideas, and the ideas have been split into instructions on how to cut the paper itself and instructions on how to lay out the different elements of the papers, including measurements on these pieces underneath. So it's really clear instructions, a really great way of learning how to get your scrapbooking cohesive and just nice and well balanced. So you'll see there's also quite a number of photos on these pages, but you can always add flip flaps, which are our little additional small page protectors on top to add additional little photos in here and there, but keeping the consistency of the designs made. Let's look at the rest of the kit. So in a scrapbooking kit you get some patterned paper. Now it is very similar to what comes as a set of patterned paper called, for this in case it's called Celebrate Designer Series paper. This one has got different designs through it than this one, and the reason being is that this is made more for scrapbooking. So as you can see, we've got 2 of that sheet and they are double-sided. We've got this beautiful background piece with the lovely new strawberry slush colour, and then we've pulled in this diagonal stripe. Now in that other pack, this is a bright orange. This time we've got more of a yellow colour coming through with the same design. Then we've got this beautiful star one. This one is my favourite in the pack for versatility. And we've got that stripe again in yet another colourway, which is a lovely soothing colour, slightly more glacial-y blue. And then look at this. This one is brand new to the kit, and you can see it's brand new to the kit and exclusive because it's a single-sided one. So we've got 2 of that beautiful sort of lilac floral. And then we've got this other exclusive sheet, which is a cut-apart sheet. So we have got a little bit of that patterned paper you saw that was in that full Designer Series paper pack. However, we have only got it as a small cut-apart piece, not a full piece, because it probably is quite a busy piece to use for scrapbooking. This has got lots of other little cut-aparts, journaling spots, little title spots, and nice little decorative elements. Now, in the kit, you also get exclusive die cuts. So all of these exclusive die cuts, they just punch out beautiful. They have been designed specifically for the layouts that we're going to create with the kit. Look at that large floral element. Doesn't it look beautiful, that watercolor effect? So we've got a little umbrella, we've got some cocktail glasses, or they could be vases for flowers. And then we've got some little subtitle tags, we've got some big titles and some foliage. So a really good mix. And we've got another sheet. This time we've got this large die cut here, which creates quite a statement piece. And we have got lots of little florals and bits and pieces to add in. In the kit we also get some custom cardstock. So the cardstock we have got here, it's all two-toned. The lighter weight cardstock, which is perfect for scrapbooking, so it doesn't weigh down your albums. So we've got that beautiful shade there. I think that's called Fresh Freesia, if I remember right. We have got the strawberry slush, the new strawberry slush. You can see those couple of shades. So essentially we've kind of got 4 colours already shown here, even though it's only 2 officially. And then we've got some of the pool party, I believe it is. And we've got, in fact, we've got 4 sheets of that, double-sided again. So lots of card to base our layouts on, which is brilliant. Then we've also got a little bit of white in here. In fact, there's quite a few sheets of white. 1, 2, 3, 4 sheets, it looks like. They are quite sturdy white too, which is very nice. And then we've got the sticker sheet. So the sticker sheet has been designed to be nice and strong. So these are really sort of almost like cardstock weight stickers. You've got some big long border strips. We've got foliage, again, beautiful florals and some neat titles. So a real variety in here. And finally, we have got all these photo mats, which are placeholders. So you can either use them as a placeholder if you're not ready to pop your photos on yet, or you can just trim your photos down slightly, because this is a true 6x4. You can trim your photos very slightly down and have a little white mat showing, which is always a nice finish to your pages. So that's the kit. Isn't it amazing what you get in the kit? And all those bits and pieces are going to come together to create these 3 double page layouts, or you can create it your own way. And that's the beauty of these. So let's create a page. Now I had recorded all of this, but my voice didn't get captured. So I'm going to try and catch up by doing a little voiceover. So I have pulled out all the pieces that had project number 2 on it. I have pre-cut the little pieces that were shown in the instructions, and I have printed out some photos. Now these are of my first day on going over to Brisbane. There was a little loot that we got given in that lovely bag, and so I had a photo on the balcony of where I was staying with Megan, and I've got some lovely plain photos as well. We're going to use layout number 2. It did have a vertical cut, so I did have to use a ruler and an X-Acto or a craft knife to cut that diagonal. And then I've mounted all my photos onto the back of those photo placeholders. I often use those instead of cutting into the white cardstock. Now we've got some stickers to add in, and I'm going to have to do a little bit of cutting to manipulate those, and you'll see that soon. But there was a little optional technique, and this technique is to heat emboss with gold on the tips of this banner, and I thought that was a really cool idea. So I'm just using my sticky Versamark ink and some gold embossing powder tipped over the edge to go away and heat set that to make a lovely little gold edge, and it is a neat effect. I love these little optional ideas that they put into the kit as little extras you can try. Now we're going to lay it out given the instructions. They do give us a little idea of the height of where you place everything, but because I'm actually going to be adding quite a few additional photos, I'm just being a little bit careful of it without adhering it yet until I know how much space I need. So the first thing we're doing is creating a little ledge. So we've got 3 different sized strips of paper which make that nice little ledge across the center, and then I'm going to add my photos just to see how much space they need. So these are a couple of the photos when I was on the plane, a beautiful view out at the Mount, such a stunning day, and of my business class seat. I was upgraded to business class courtesy of my husband, which was pretty awesome. So I was sitting in there for my trip across to Brisbane. Now I didn't need to have that ledge so low, so I've shifted it up slightly, and I'm just adding in these other 5 photos down the base. I'm just trying to find a way to make it all work. Here is the lovely little die cuts that are also part of this page, and I'm just trying to see where I'm going to place everything. So all the tags and die cuts and everything fit in quite well with all of my additional photos. It doesn't seem to make too much of a problem, but I do need to alter the title slightly. So it says Good Times, and so I'm going to add a little bit of a different title in once I've got these ledges and the stickers all going. So I'm going to adhere that down, and then I'm going to get, from my title, I'm going to use a little bit of the Spear Designer Series paper, but I'm going to add an adhesive sheet to the back because I'm going to create little stickers out of my die cut letters. So I'm just going to place that adhesive sheet on the back of the patterned paper, lay out all the different letters I need, and then go away and cut those. So they're all stickers, and I've got the rest of it written in here, and I'm going to put Brisbane Good Times, which works quite well on that page. So that's the left hand side done. So now we're going to work on the right hand side. So we're going to adhere again that base sheet to my mat so it doesn't move around. This time I'm cutting the sticker in half so that I can get a little bit of that scallop peeping through, but because it's actually a longer than 12-inch length across the diagonal, I have to be a little bit clever, and I'm going to be covering over that center part with my photos so I know I can manipulate this sticker by just having some of it at the bottom and some of it at the top. Took me a little bit to line it up, but we got there in the end. So now I can adhere my triangle piece on, and we can start to layer up all our bits. So once again, we've got another little ledge down the bottom here, which I'm just going to layer up just to see how much space I need. And then I'm going to pop in my photos. Now there is this wonderful large die cut that's in the background that just gives a real splash of colour, which is adorable. So I'm going to lift that ledge up a little bit because I don't need it quite so low. And then I'm going to tuck in all the pieces that I've got here. There is some really stunning little florals to go in here. We've got some more foliage just to add bits of greenery, which always looks really lovely. And then there's a title, Sip Sip Hooray, which I'm kind of thinking I don't need that. And I also don't need that sangria bottle of cocktails on the side there. That's what was meant to be there for the layout. But I'm going to bring in a little bundle. I've got the Notes and Totes bundle, which is a new one. And I'm going to pop in and make my own little tote bag, given that we were gifted gifted a tote bag on that first day. So I'm just creating my own with the little handle and everything. And then I'm going to have a bit of fun filling it with bits and pieces. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a little magazine piece, and the stamp's got some quite neat titles for that magazine. The one I've put is exclusively made for you, which is kind of cool. So that's going to pop into my bag. And then I've got this other bundle. This one is actually on whilst supplies last, in our last chance area. So the crafting with you, it is adorable. I'm making a little trimmer, you know, the trimmers that we use when we do our crafting. And I'm also going to make some scissors, and I'm just going to pop these in to make it a bit more like a craft bag, given that I was gifted it at a craft expo. So I'm just making up that scissors. I've used some silver metallic for the blade part of the scissors, and I'm just putting black handles on because the Stampin' Up! Scissors are black handled. And then in my little trimmer, I'm going to put a little silver ruler down the side as well, just to add that little touch of bling. I'm loving how this is coming together. In the tote set, there is a little scarf as well, which I have cut out from some of that patterned paper. So I don't need that sangria bottle anymore. I have filled it up with a gorgeous tote. So what do you think of the end of it? I did change my title to just Hooray. I didn't need the sip sip part of it, but I did want a little bit of extra bling. Now in your kits you don't get the little bits of bling, so I've just gone to the suite of this range itself and got these lovely holographic resin dots, which just look a little bit like dewy drops, I suppose, coming from your drinks, but it just adds a bit of a shine. This has been such a fun layout to put together and so easy. Thanks for watching.